Good evening. My name is Erika Kirk. Charlie Kirk is my husband. Go to tpusa.com. If you're a pastor, join our movement at TPUSA Faith. And if you're a parent, I highly recommend that you come to America Fest in December.
And he made sure we recorded everything.
Everything.
He would not do a speech unless we could get the video and the
100%. So we have speeches that no one's heard of. We have interviews that no one's heard of. We have stuff from Korea and Japan that no one's heard of.
Podcasts.
So, I mean, in the words of my husband, buckle up, because there is a lot of content to be had. And we have so many amazing things down the pipeline that we are working on currently that will
unveil in due time.
I am so excited.
Yeah.
On September 10th, 2025, conservative activist Charlie Kirk was fatally at Utah Valley University. Within hours, the world watched as his widow, Erika Kirk, emerged from the tragedy. Just 48 hours later, Erika gave her first public address, live streamed from the studio tied to her husband's organization. She recruited supporters, called for donations, and declared that Charlie's mission would continue. Those were not the only things that many people found very disturbing. Meanwhile, others were finding it very, very encouraging and very brave of her. Within 8 days, on September 18, Turning Point USA's board unanimously named her CEO. 3 days later, a national memorial in Glendale resembled a political rally, a theatrical spectacle, drawing attention for its stage production and the speeches, including Donald Trump's very grandiose address.
I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erika. I think we found an answer to autism. How about that? Autism. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking in the Oval Office in the White House.
Despite Erika saying she forgave the man who did what happened to her husband.
That man, that young man, I forgive him.
Many pointed out the tears she was wiping, which were not flowing. Others addressed her behavior. Others talked about her attire. Well, it wasn't all. Within a week, she appeared in interviews, composed, relaxed, and as many termed it, looked even happy.
We're not going anywhere.
We have the blueprints.
We have the blueprints. We have our marching orders. And in the words of my husband, buckle up, because there is a lot of content to be had. And we have so many amazing things down the pipeline that we are working on currently that will
unveil in due time.
I am so excited.
Yeah.
She also announced a Megyn Kelly tour with tickets reaching hundreds of dollars, raising questions about fundraising and public image. And do not forget, during the memorial of her husband, people were being registered to vote. There was a lot of fundraising and collections being done before and after that. So many people criticized her, calling it a showmanship, and so many theories were developed to back her behavior or to substantiate why a widow will behave like this just within hours or days after her husband is down in that manner. In this video, we will explore Erika Kirk's journey, her background, controversies, conspiracies, and a grief philosophy I would like many of you to take home, no matter who you are looking at when it comes to grief. Now, I want us to look at this, the philosophy of grief. Manipulator or misunderstood? What is Erika's case? The central question remains, is Erika Kirk a manipulator executing a well-planned political takeover, or is she a misunderstood widow simply choosing to grieve differently? There have also been a lot of theories out there which I cannot even mention. So, the concept of grief is not monolithic and has been debated for millennia. Ancient philosophy offers perspective on the highly personal and often contradictory nature of mourning. Ancient Greek and Roman thought, the philosophers like Cicero and the Stoics emphasized the therapeutic power of rationalization and language in overcoming bereavement. Cicero, after losing his daughter, moved through stages of intense private anguish in letters, reading consolation literature, and finally penning a philosophical work to gain a wider perspective. The Stoic idea advocated for a rational approach, suggesting that controlling one's reaction to loss was key to endurance. The role of public ritual. In ancient Greece, elaborate public rituals like the prothesis, laying out the body, ekphora, that's the funeral procession, primarily led by women, were essential to mourning and to ensure the deceased was remembered. However, even those rituals often involve professional mourners, suggesting an element of performance in public grief. Erika Kirk's action, the scripted speech, the immediate call to action, the celebratory memorial, can be viewed through those historical lenses, a political interpretation. Her quick action is a highly public, decisive rejection of traditional mourning, a modern manifestation of a stoic resolve to not let the evil that killed Charlie rob us of our joy. Now, let's look at a cultural interpretation. The spectacle, the rally, the fireworks are a reflection of a contemporary political culture that frames a conservative death as an act of martyrdom and demands a defiant, forward-looking response rather than a quiet sorrow. Erika Kirk has provided a blueprint for the movement's future, but the human heart is rarely as simple. What do you think? Was Erika Kirk's composure a sign of calculation or an expression of fierce resolve to honor her husband's legacy? These are questions and discussions that we should all have, because irrespective of how you view her and her mourning, there is something to look forward when it comes to these things. And once you look at them, you will understand. Grief is deeply personal. Shezet wrote, "To live is to suffer. To suffer is to find some meaning in suffering." Cicero said, "Grief is the price we pay for love." Erika's composed demeanor and public engagement may reflect her personal way of processing loss rather than calculation. So, even if we are to look at whatever she's doing as timely calculation or not grieve enough, let us just give her the benefit of doubt to grieve in the way she has to, for her to cope with everything that she's going through. Yes, I personally have seen a lot of things about her method that bothered my spirit, but this is one thing I always come to. Grief is something that is sacred, personal, and there is no manual that anyone should follow to go through it. Some people process it in various ways in order to handle or cope with it. Probably she's putting up a strong public persona to help her be able to stay strong, to take care of her little kids. Remember, she has 2 little children. And if she falls apart, maybe she will not be able to stay there for her kids. Maybe the reason she's practicing to smile in front of the public is so she can also prepare herself to smile when she's alone with her kids. At 3 a.m. in the morning, when she wakes up and realizes the man she loved and lived with for these years is no longer by her side, and she has to deal with that alone. Maybe her smiling in public Maybe her constant behavior, which we are not understanding, is something that we will not comprehend because she is the one dealing with the grief. Yes, I understand that things like her wiping tears that are not there are extremely suspicious. But remember, let's give her grace to grieve. Let's just give her the grace to grieve. We may not know everything happening behind the scenes, but let's give her the grace and say, this is probably her method until there is reason otherwise. Erika's journey from pageant queen and young NGO founder to CEO of Turning Point USA is marked by achievements and controversy. While some view her actions as strategic or theatrical, fact-checking confirms that allegations about Romanian angels were false. But then, we will wait for the full reports before we can keep that to bed. Her story raises large questions. How should public grief be judged? Can we truly understand someone else's mourning? We leave these questions to you, the viewers, to consider. Let me know in the comment section. Have you ever experienced loss? What was your process? And do you feel like her process is valid, even if you don't agree with it? Always, always give any other person grace to go through their process, even if you don't believe them. Until next time, bye. Hi guys, I'm just dropping in here to remind you, I do have membership. If you'd like to join, please do. It helps a lot in creating these videos for you. You may not understand, but it's true.
I mean, women
It's
should...
beautiful.
Wives.
Marriage in the right context is so beautiful because your husband will give up anything and everything for you in a healthy manner, but they will literally love you and honor you and cherish you above all, and put all the noise aside and focus on wife, children, family.
Daisy's...
My mind gets clarified. My body feels better. I'm not going down checking for notifications all the time. And so that's one of the ways we do it. And secondly, it's through spiritual disciplines. My wife and I pray together. We fast together. We go to church together. And men, let me tell you something that you will never forget. When you get married, it is your biblical obligation to bring your family to church on a regular basis. That is the man's role. Now, let me tell you.
Obviously, we figure out the dynamic of at least having a date night, at least once a month, at least. But there will be moments where he's literally about to rush out the door and I won't see him for several days. Kids are wreaking havoc in the kitchen, pulling things out all over, and he just grabs me and he's like, 1 minute. And we just literally stare at each other for a minute and say, like, I love you, whatever you need to say, but we have that 1 minute together to reset our hearts. And honestly, that is something that helps recharge the bucket until you get that date night. So just being really intentional about little moments that will build into a greater good for the relationship. But I know you have...
I agree with all that. Just prioritize, obviously, your marriage actually comes before your kids. I know that's a provocative thing to say, but it's true. Your relationship with your kids is important.
Yes.
But it's not covenantal.
Right.
Your marriage is a covenant. Your relationship with your kids is an outgrowth of a covenant.